Olorato Mongale was born in 1995 in Bloemfontein, South Africa, a city known for its quiet charm and deep cultural roots. Raised by her mother, Basetsana Mongale, Olorato grew up in a modest but loving household. Her mother, a schoolteacher, instilled in her a deep respect for education, discipline, and community. From a young age, Olorato stood out. She was curious, articulate, and fiercely independent. Teachers described her as a natural leader, while friends remembered her as the one who always had a plan, whether it was organizing study groups or volunteering. At church events, Olorato was always in motion, always building something. Her childhood was shaped by the realities of post-apartheid South Africa, rising inequality, gender-based violence, and the pressure to succeed against the odds. But Olorato didn't just survive, she thrived. Olorato's academic path led her to the University of the Witwatersrand, WITS in Johannesburg, one of South Africa's most prestigious institutions. She enrolled in a postgraduate program in public policy and development, with a focus on gender equity and youth empowerment. Her professors described her as brilliant, driven, and deeply empathetic. She wasn't just studying policy, she was living it. Olorato interned with NGOs, participated in youth forums, and even helped draft community proposals aimed at reducing gender-based violence in townships. She was known around campus for her signature style: bold earrings, a stack of books, and a warm smile that made strangers feel like friends. You could meet her by the cafe near the library, said WITS representative Jerome Sathemba, and she'd already know who you were. She was that kind of person, present, intentional, unforgettable. Olorato was a connector. She had a gift for making people feel seen. Her WhatsApp was filled with voice notes from friends seeking advice, venting about life, or just sharing memes. She was the kind of person who remembered birthdays, sent encouraging texts before exams, and showed up when it mattered. Her mother described her as a fighter, not just in the physical sense, but emotionally, spiritually, intellectually. "My daughter was extra careful," Basetsana said at her funeral. "She would never have allowed a total stranger to fetch her from her gate. I know that she is a fighter. When I saw her at the government mortuary, I could see that my daughter fought. She fought until her nails broke off." Olorato's relationships were deep and intentional. She had a close circle of friends, many of whom were fellow students, activists, and creatives. She was also known to be cautious with romantic connections, preferring to meet people through mutual friends or professional circles. Olorato wasn't just studying public policy, she was preparing to change it. Her thesis focused on gender-based violence and youth-led reform, and she had plans to work with the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities after graduation. She believed in a South Africa where women could walk safely, where education was accessible, and where young people had a voice in shaping the future. She was a visionary, said family spokesperson Dr. Criselda Kananda. She had everything that a WITSy is: excellence and determination. Her dream was to start a foundation that would mentor young girls from rural areas, helping them navigate education, career planning, and self-defense. She had already begun drafting the proposal. In the weeks leading up to May 25, 2025, Olorato was preparing for her final thesis presentation. She had just submitted a draft and was planning a weekend trip to visit her mother in Bloemfontein. Friends say she was excited, focused, and glowing. She had also recently met someone, a man she'd been chatting with casually. According to reports, they planned to meet for coffee. It was supposed to be a simple date, a break from the stress, a moment of connection. But it wasn't. Olorato Mongale was more than a victim. She was a scholar, a daughter, a visionary. Her life was a mosaic of brilliance, kindness, and purpose. And that's why her murder didn't just break hearts, it broke the nation. In the next chapter, we'll walk through the final day of her life, the timeline, the CCTV footage, and the chilling details that turned a promising future into a national tragedy. It was a quiet Sunday morning in Athol, Johannesburg. The city, still recovering from the weekend's buzz, moved slowly. In her residential complex, Olorato Mongale 30 woke up surrounded by books, notes, and the quiet hum of her postgraduate life. She had recently submitted her thesis draft at WITS University and was planning a short trip to Bloemfontein to visit her mother. But first, she had a date. The man she was meeting had approached her days earlier, charming, polite, and seemingly harmless. They'd exchanged messages. He'd suggested coffee. She agreed. It was supposed to be casual, A break from the stress. A moment of connection. CCTV footage captured Olorato leaving her residence. She was dressed simply jeans, a white blouse, and her signature earrings. She walked toward a white VW Polo parked outside the gate. The car had cloned license plates, a detail that would later become critical. She got in. The man behind the wheel drove her toward Alexandra Township, then Kew, and finally, the stretch of road between Alexandra and Lombardy West. It was a route she didn't know, a route she wouldn't return from. According to SAPS investigators, the man was part of a criminal syndicate, targeting women through fake, romantic setups. Their modus operandi was chillingly simple: approach women in public spaces, charm them, propose a date, and then rob or worse. They proposed to these young women, usually in malls, men said, "Brigadier Athlenda Mate." When they agree to meet, that's when the trap is set. Olorato was cautious by nature. Her mother later said she would never have allowed a total stranger to fetch her from her gate, but this man had convinced her. He had a name, a smile, and a car that looked clean. He had a story, and she believed it. 11 a.m. Olorato leaves her residence in Athol. 11:30 a.m. VW Polo seen entering Alexandra. 12:15 p.m. The car is spotted near Kew. 1:00 p.m. Her phone goes silent. 2:00 p.m. Her handbag and phone are found abandoned in Kew. 3:30 p.m. The Polo exits toward Lombardy West. 4:00 p.m. Her body is dumped. She was bound, beaten, and murdered. Her body was left in a secluded area between Alexandra and Lombardy West, a place known for illegal dumping and gang activity. The investigation began immediately. SAPS launched a multidisciplinary task force including National Crime Intelligence, Anti-Kidnapping Task Team, Gauteng Provincial Investigation Unit, DPCI KZN Tracking Team, Durban Metro Police K9 Unit, private security teams. The white VW Polo was traced to a panel beater's workshop in Phoenix, Durban. Inside, forensic experts found traces of blood, confirming it was the murder vehicle. The car's owner, an elderly man, was arrested. He claimed he'd lent the car to a friend. That friend was part of the syndicate. Experts say the syndicate used emotional manipulation and social engineering. They studied their targets, watched their routines, learned their interests, and built trust quickly. "It's not just a crime," said psychologist Dr. Nandi Mokwena. "It's a psychological ambush. These men weaponized charm." Olorato was not naive. She was cautious, smart, and aware. But even the most vigilant can be deceived when the deception is designed to feel safe. The locations involved in Olorato's final journey are not random. Each has a reputation. Alexandra, dense, urban, and often under-policed, known for gang activity and informal settlements. Kew, a transitional zone, quieter but with pockets of criminal activity. Lombardy West, a dumping ground, isolated, forgotten. These areas form a triangle of vulnerability, places where women disappear and bodies are found. 3 names emerged. Aisan Pilangenko si Sibongo Kule Makanya, Toit Fezilen Gubane, Trent Bonganim Timhulu. All were considered armed and dangerous. SAPS issued a national alert, urging citizens to report sightings but not approach them. On May 30, Makanya was located in Amanzimtoti, KwaZulu-Natal. When police tried to arrest him, he opened fire. A shootout ensued. He was killed on the spot. Inside his possession, 28 ID cards and multiple mobile phones, evidence of a broader criminal operation. Later that day, Nagubani surrendered at the Kwamashu police station. Mathimkulu remains at large. Olorato's mother, Basetsana Mongale, was devastated. "My daughter fought," she said. "When I saw her at the mortuary, I could see that she fought until her nails broke off." Her funeral was held in Bloemfontein. Hundreds attended: students, activists, professors, and strangers who had followed the case online. The service was filled with tears, poetry, and rage. "She was our future," said Dr. Griselda Kananda. "She was everything South Africa needed and everything it lost." The murder sparked national outrage. Social media exploded with hashtags. "Justice for Olorato," "Stop Killing Women," I'll say her name, or "Femicide Crisis A." The Ministry of Police issued a statement. "We unequivocally condemn the gruesome and inhumane killing of Olorato Mongale. No one deserves to suffer such cruelty. To all men, this is a plea, simple, urgent, and human. Please stop killing women." May 25, 2025 was supposed to be a normal day, a coffee date, a break from thesis stress, a moment of joy. Instead, it became a national tragedy. Olorato Mongale's final day was not just a timeline, it was a warning. A reminder that trust in the wrong hands can be fatal, and that South Africa's femicide crisis is not a statistic, it's a scream. Sunday, May 25, 2025. Olorato Mongale, a 30-year-old postgraduate student at WITS University, left her residence in Athol, Johannesburg, for what she believed was a casual date. She had met the man days earlier at Free State Mall. He was polite, well-dressed, and seemed trustworthy. They exchanged messages. He offered to pick her up. She agreed. At 11 a.m., CCTV captured her walking toward a white VW Polo parked outside her gate. She got in. The car drove off. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. By 1 p.m., her phone went silent. By 2 p.m., her handbag and mobile device were found abandoned in queue. But no one knew that yet. Her family was still waiting for her to return. Olorato's mother, Busetsana Mongale, grew concerned when her daughter didn't respond to messages. It was unusual. Olorato was known for her punctuality and constant communication. She always checked in. By evening, the silence became unbearable. Busetsana called friends, neighbors, and colleagues. No one had heard from her. Her WhatsApp status hadn't changed. Her last seen timestamp was frozen. At 9 p.m., the family filed a missing person report with SAPS. The next morning, police began canvassing the area. They reviewed CCTV footage from her residential complex. The white VW Polo was identified, but the license plates didn't match any registered vehicle. They were cloned. Investigators traced the car's route using traffic cameras. It had passed through Alexandra, Kew, and Lombardy West areas known for criminal activity, but there was no footage of Olorato getting out. Her friends launched a social media campaign. Fin d'Olorato. I bring her home. Say her name. Flyers were printed. Posts were shared. Her face flooded timelines across South Africa. For her family, each hour felt like a lifetime. Busetsana Mongale barely slept. She kept her phone on loud, hoping for a call. Her daughter's friends gathered at her home, praying, crying, waiting. She was never careless, said her cousin. She was the one who warned us about strangers. She was the one who told us to share our location. That's why this hurts so much. Her professors at WITS were stunned. She had just submitted her thesis, said Dr. Empo Dlamini. She was preparing for her final presentation. She had so much to give. On May 27, SAPS received a tip a white VW Polo had been seen near a lodge in Kew. Officers raided the location. 2 suspects had booked a room days earlier. They were gone. The car was later traced to a panel beater's workshop in Phoenix, Durban. Forensic experts found traces of blood inside. The vehicle was registered to an elderly man who claimed he had lent it to a friend. That friend was part of a syndicate. Police uncovered a disturbing trend. The suspects had been targeting women at shopping centers across Gauteng. They would charm them, offer dates, and then kidnap, rob, or kill. The same white VW Polo had been spotted in multiple cases. It was a mobile trap. This is not random, said Brigadier Athlenda Mate. This is organized. This is calculated. As news of Olorato's disappearance spread, South Africans responded with outrage. Vigils were held in Johannesburg, Bloemfontein, and Cape Town. Activists demanded action. She is not just another statistic, said Dr. Criselda Kananda. She is a daughter, a scholar, a fighter. The hashtags evolved. Justice for Olorato. Stop killing women. The femicide crisis. Celebrities, politicians, and influencers joined the call. The Ministry of Police issued a statement condemning the crime and pledging full support for the investigation. On May 28th, boys hunting for traditional medicine near Lombardy West followed a foul smell. They found a body bound, beaten, and decomposed. It was Olorato Mongale. Her mother was called to identify her. She fought, Busetsana said. Her nails were broken. Her face was bruised. She didn't go quietly. The autopsy confirmed the cause of death: blunt force trauma and strangulation. SAPS launched a national manhunt. 3 suspects were named. Asen Pilangenko Sisi Bongo Kule Makanya, Toit Fezilen Gubane, Traint Wonganim Timhulu. On May 30th, Makanya was located in Amanzimtoti. He opened fire on police. A shootout ensued. He was killed. Inside his possession, 28 ID cards and multiple phones. Ngubeni surrendered at Kwamashu police station. His father had seen the news and convinced him to turn himself in. Muthimkulu remains at large. After Olorato's murder, other women came forward. One woman said she was approached by Makanya at Free State Mall just 2 days before Olorato's date. He introduced himself as Malengi and invited her out. She declined, citing safety concerns. He insisted she bring a friend. The date turned into a nightmare. They were driven to an isolated area in Bochabala Township, held at gunpoint, and forced to call people for money. "We were told to say we were in a crisis and needed our $2,000, she said. They threatened to shoot us if we didn't convince someone to send it. Another woman said she now fears walking in public. Olorato's murder made me realize how many untold stories there are. Being a woman in South Africa feels like a curse. Olorato Mongale's disappearance was not just a tragedy, it was a revelation. It exposed a syndicate. It ignited a movement. It reminded South Africa that femicide is not a headline, it's a crisis. Her silence became a scream. Her absence became a rallying cry. And her memory became a mission. Olorato had shared her live location with her friend, Taramalongoana, before leaving for the date. That location history helped police reconstruct her route. Athol Alexandra Q, Lombardy West. Her phone pinged for the last time at 1:07 p.m. near Q. Then it went dark. Police recovered her SIM card near the scene, likely discarded by the killer to prevent tracking. When police contacted Basetsana Mongale, they asked her to come to the mortuary. She arrived with her sister and a family friend. The moment she saw the body, she collapsed. "My daughter fought," she said. Her nails were broken. Her face was bruised. She didn't go quietly, the mortuary staff confirmed. The identity through dental. Records and personal items. The bracelet, the earrings, and a small tattoo on her wrist all matched. That night, the community gathered in Lombardy West. Candles were lit, flowers were placed. Strangers wept. Activists spoke. Her name echoed through the streets. "Olorato Mongale! Say her name! Justice for Olorato!" Her friends from WITS arrived in buses. Her professors came in silence. Her mother stood at the front, holding a photo of her daughter smiling, radiant, alive. Experts say killers choose dump sites carefully. Lombardy West was isolated. Few witnesses, no cameras. Symbolic, a place between wealth and poverty. Accessible, close to major roads for quick escape. This was not random, said criminologist Dr. Nandi Mokoena. This was a message a woman discarded like trash. It's the psychology of power. Police now believed Olorato's murder was part of a pattern. The suspects Philangen Kosi Makanya and Bongani. Muthimkulu had been arrested before for kidnapping and robbery. In April, they had lured 2 women using the same white VW Polo. In that case, the women were held at gunpoint and forced to call family members for ransom. They survived. Olorato didn't. The dump site matched previous cases. The car matched. The method matched. On May 26th, police traced the VW Polo to a panel beater's workshop in Phoenix, Durban. Inside, they found blood traces, Olorato's hair, a broken bracelet clasp. The car was registered to an elderly man, Makanya's father. He was arrested. His wife had tipped off their son, allowing him to flee moments before police arrived. The syndicate's method was chillingly simple. 1. Approach women in public spaces, malls, taxi ranks, university campuses. 2. Charm them, polite conversation, compliments, and offers of coffee or lunch. 3. Exchange contact details, often using fake names and cloned phone numbers. 4. Set up a date, usually in a neutral location. 5. Pick them up in a clean vehicle, often a white VW Polo with cloned plates. 6. Drive them to an isolated area where they would be robbed, assaulted, or killed. Police spokesperson Brigadier Athlenda Mathy confirmed. They propose to these young women, usually in malls, request to take them out on dates, and when they agree, that is when they plan to rob them. 3 names emerged as central figures in the syndicate. Asen Pilangenko Sisibongo Kule Makanya, alleged ringleader, known for using multiple aliases, found with 28 ID cards and 6 mobile phones. Killed in a shootout with police in Amanzimtoti on May 30th, 2025, Tham Bonganium Timkulu, still at large, believed to be Makanya's closest associate, linked to at least 22 cases involving kidnapping, robbery, and assault. Initially named as a suspect, Later cleared after police confirmed he had been a victim of Makanya and Mthimkulu's manipulation. These men operated with precision. They knew how to blend in, how to charm, and how to disappear. The syndicate wasn't confined to Johannesburg. Their operations spanned Gauteng, Alexandra, Sandton, Q, Lombardy West, KwaZulu-Natal, Phoenix, Amanzimtoti, KwaMashu, Free State, Bloemfontein, Free State Mall, Eastern Cape, Mathatha, East London. Police believed they used panel beaters and informal workshops to hide vehicles and switch plates. The white VW Polo used in Olorato's murder was found in Phoenix, Durban, 600 km from the crime scene. Makanya was no stranger to crime. At just 32 years old, he had already been arrested multiple times, most recently in April 2025 for kidnapping and robbery in Brakpan. He was released on bail just weeks before Olorato's murder. April 22, 2025, arrested with Mthimkulu for kidnapping a woman and robbing her in Brakpan. April 26, 2025, released on bail. May 25, 2025, allegedly involved in Olorato's murder. May 30, 2025, killed in a shootout with police in Amanzimtoti. Criminologists described him as a narcissistic manipulator, charming, calculated, and devoid of empathy. He used aliases like Malengi and John, often approaching women in malls and taxi ranks. His charm was his weapon. He treated women like transactions, said Brigadier Athlenda Mathe, like objects to be used and discarded. Unlike Makanya's calculated charm, Mthimkulu relied on fear. Survivors described him as cold and unpredictable. He rarely spoke, but when he did, it was to issue threats. He told us he would shoot us if we didn't convince someone to send money, said one survivor from Bloemfontein. Ngubane's role in the syndicate remains unclear. Initially named as a suspect, he later surrendered to police and was cleared of direct involvement in Olorato's murder. May 30, 2025, surrendered at KwaMashu Police Station. June 2025, cleared of murder charges. Current status: cooperating with police. Ngubane claimed he had been manipulated by Makanya and Mthimkulu and that he feared for his life. His testimony helped police understand the syndicate's structure and recruitment methods. The three men were part of a larger criminal syndicate targeting women across South Africa. Their operations spanned Gauteng, Alexandra, Sandton, Q, KwaZulu-Natal, Phoenix, Amanzimtoti, Free State, Bloemfontein, Eastern Cape, Mathatha. They used cloned vehicles, burner phones, and fake identities. Their victims were often young, educated women like Olorato. After Olorato's murder, more than 20 women came forward with similar stories. Case 1, Botshabelo Township. 2 women were lured by Makanya under the name Malengi. They were driven to an isolated area, held at gunpoint, and forced to call family members for money. We were told to say we were in a crisis and urgently needed R2000, one survivor said. They threatened to shoot us if we didn't convince someone to send it. Case 2, Bloemfontein Mall. A woman was approached by Makanya, who insisted she bring a friend for safety. The date turned into a robbery. They were released only after someone sent money via cash send. Justice for Olorato Mongale is not just about arrests and trials, it's about transformation. It's about dismantling systems that enable violence, empowering survivors, and building a country where women are safe, respected, and free. Her killers may face the law, but her legacy faces the future. She was brilliant. She was brave. She was ours. And she will never be forgotten.
This is Whispers in Africa. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the true crime documentary. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell icon, so you'll be notified when we upload a new video. You can also tell us what you think about this documentary in the comments section. I hope to see you in our next video. Bye.